This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so let us start. So yesterday we were discussing regarding the various advantages of SAP materials management or SAP system. Over and above the other enterprise resource planning packages that are available in the market. Okay, so the advantage number 3, which we were discussing, is it has a strong client server architecture. When I say strong client server architecture, it will have 3 levels in processing the data. So level 1 is the presentation layer, level 2 is the application layer, and level 3 is the database layer. So presentation layer is nothing but it will enable the users to be able to access the SAP system and do the transactions on their day-to-day basis. Okay, so how a presentation layer will be helping the users to do the transactions in the SAP, that we will see. Okay, let me go to the SAP system. Okay, so this is how I will be able to log in into the SAP, right? So I need to download one of the software known as graphical user interface if I want to log in into the SAP system. Okay, so this is the software which we need to download. So once you downloaded this particular thing, so it will be available as a SAP logon icon, right? So this will be called as a GUI. GUI is nothing but a graphical user interface. Okay, so if I want to log in into the SAP system, I just need to double click on it. When I double click on it over here, I need to configure the server details for which I want to have the connectivity. So these and all this is the server details they have provided for me so that I will be able to log in into the system. So 192.168.0.210 is the application server and instance is the 11, system ID is the ECC. Okay, so these are the server details I need to configure over here. Once I configured over here, if I want to log in into the SAP, so I just need to double click on it over here. So I just double click on it. So when I double click on it, so it will go to the login. It will ask for the user ID and the password details. So every user will be provided with the user ID and the password details. So I also have the one user ID and the password details. So this is the user ID. And what is the password? Password is India123. Okay, so this is the India123. I just entered the password, so I will be able to log in into the system. Okay, so let us say I am the person working in the procurement department. As a part of my day-to-day activity, I need to perform the various types of transactions like purchase order creation, contract creation, purchase requisition, everything. Such type of contract, such type of documents I will be creating based upon my roles and responsibilities. Let us say I want to create one purchase order. So how I will create? I will go to the, so this is just for your understanding purpose. We are going to discuss in detail when we are executing the real time, when we are progressing into the further sessions. Okay, so let me go to the materials management. Let us say sales and distribution consultant, he will do his own activities in this particular area. Production consultant will do his own activities here, and finance consultant will do his own activities. QM consultant will do his own activities. So every consultant will work based upon their type of work. So I am the SAP materials management consultant and I am the person working in the procurement department. I want to create a purchase order based upon my role. What I will do, I will go to the materials management and I will go to the procurement or the purchasing and I will go to the purchase order, then create, then just double click on this particular transaction code. So I will just double click on it over here. So I will try to create a purchase order. Let me try to create a purchase order quickly. See. So I will try to create a purchase order over here. Let me quickly create. So I will enter all the details that are required for creating a purchase order. So I will enter the organizational data and all those things. Then you have the purchasing group, then company code. So all these details I will be entering over here. Okay, so here there is some issue. Okay, so I will enter all the details over here one by one. So since this is the system where we don't have the entire master data and the relevant configurations over here, so it is giving some errors. Okay, so this way I will be able to create the documents in the SAP system based upon my roles. So a presentation layer is nothing but the layer which is enabling you to do the transactions, right? So I have the user ID and the password provided. With that particular user ID and the password, I will be able to log in into the SAP system and I am able to do the transactions. So this particular enablement of the doing transactions by the SAP system is known as a presentation layer. So this I can call it as a presentation layer or the presentation layer section. Then what is the application layer? Application layer is nothing but a backend programming part. See, I am trying to create a purchase order. When I am trying to create a purchase order, the system is trying to validate this particular purchase order, right? So I just entered something wrong over here. See, I just entered something wrong. OCCP I just entered. Then what it is saying? It is saying purchasing organization OCCP not defined. That means it is validating in the backend. It is saying whatever may be the purchase organization which you have entered over here, it is wrong. It is not available. How it will be able to tell? Because there are so many backend programs that are getting executed when I am trying to validate a purchase order. So the program execution part in the backend will be called as a application layer. So application layer is nothing but a backend programming execution part. Backend program execution part. So how a program looks like? So there are so many programs that are getting generated in the backend, but I will just show it to you how a program is getting executed when I am trying to do the some activity in the SAP system. So I will go to the just /h I will put it. I will try to put the /h. There are thousands of programs that are there in the backend, but I am trying to show it to you one program over here. So this is the program which is created for the purchase order validations, etc. And this is getting executed in the backend and trying to do the validation of a purchase order which I am trying to create. So this particular program execution part I will be calling as a application layer, where there are so many programs based upon the type of transaction which you are performing. These programs are getting, the relevant program is getting triggered and it is trying to execute. So that particular area is nothing but a application layer. Then what is database layer? Database layer is nothing but the data storage. Let us say you have purchased one mobile, right? When you purchase a mobile, you will say, I have purchased the mobile for 8 GB RAM or 12 GB RAM. What is 8 GB RAM and 12 GB RAM? It is nothing but a memory storage area where, let us say, you want to download one video from the YouTube and you have downloaded, and that particular video, once it got downloaded, will be stored into that particular storage area or the memory. Why you are storing over there? What exactly the reason? Because at the end of the day, or after 2 days, or after 1 month or 1 year, you want to extract, you want to visualize the same video. So how you will visualize? You will be extracting that particular video from the memory device or the memory space, and you will be able to visualize that again. So in the same way, in SAP system, I will be doing thousands of transactions on day-to-day basis. All those transactions, I will be storing them in the database. Why I am storing them in the database? Because after 1 year down the line, or after 1 month down the line, I want to generate so many reports upon that particular data. Also, I want to have the history to be maintained for the transactions which I have done in the previous days. Any transaction you do, it will be stored in the database in the format of the tables. So that particular area where I am storing the data for the transactions which I am trying to execute will be called as the database layer. So database layer is nothing but a storage of the transactional data and configurational data and so many other master data. Okay, so storage of the transactional data which you are trying to do, or configurations, any activity you perform, once you save it, it will be stored under the database table. There are thousands of tables. The relevant table will be getting updated based upon your type of transaction which you are performing. Okay, so let us see. So let us say I created one purchase order. When I create a purchase order, the data relevant to that particular purchase order will be stored under some of the tables. Like we have so many tables. Just for your understanding purpose, we have something known as the EKKO table and the EKPO table. These are the tables that will get updated in the database. So if I want to see how a table is getting updated, I will go to the SC11 transaction code and I will see. I will input EKKO and just enter over here. So I will display. Okay, so can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, somebody messaged in the chat stating that they are not able to visualize, listen. I think Ahmad, maybe there is some network issue. I think you just need to check at your end. Okay, so this is the database table. Within this database table, the data is getting stored. Let us say I will try to go to the content. So I will try to execute the report. See, this is the, let us say somebody created this particular purchase order, and this particular purchase order relevant data is getting created in the, or stored in this particular database table. Okay, so this is some of the complex structures. So we will see how the data is getting stored in the format of the tables in SAP system when you do any transaction or the activity. Okay, now let me go back, and we also have some of the other tables as well. Why I am storing the data in the tables? Because I want to retrieve the data for some period of time, after some period of time. I am maintaining the history of the transactions which I am trying to do, so that I can generate so many reports, or if I want to visualize the same thing after 1 year or after 10 days, I will be able to extract the data from the database. So we also have one of the other table known as EKPO. I will just click on it over here. I will click on display button. I will go to the contents. Okay, so again I will execute it over here. When I execute it over here, I will be able to see the details of a purchase order. See, there are so many procurement documents. You have the purchase orders, you have the contracts, you have the scheduling agreement. There are so many things. So all those things, data is getting stored in the database in the format of the tables. Okay, now let us see. So this way the data is getting stored in the database tables. We will see how the data is getting stored in the tables and what and all the relevant tables when we are doing the transactions in SAP in our coming sessions. So in nutshell, we have the 3 layers in the R3 architecture, that is presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer. So the data in these 3 layers is a bidirectional data flow. That means sometimes the data will be moving from presentation layer to the application layer. Sometimes the data is getting moved from the presentation layer to the application layer, and sometimes it will move data from the database layer to the presentation layer. Means it is a bidirectional data flow, right? It is a two-way bidirectional data flow. Also, the application layer is acting as a intermediate medium. Means the data is getting flown from the presentation layer to the database layer via application layer, and from database layer to the presentation layer via application layer. It's a bidirectional data flow. Okay, so this is something related to the R3 architecture. I will just show it to you one picture where you will be able to get the clear understanding of the R3 architecture. Okay, so let me go to the Google. We will see what is R3 architecture. I will go to the let us see. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can stop at any moment of time and you can ask me. Okay, whenever you have some issues in understanding, you can ask me. So this is some of the theoretical part which we are trying to learn now. And SAP R3 architecture. SAP R3 architecture. See, this is the 3-tier architecture, right? So here we have the database layer. Database layer is nothing but the servers or the memory devices where you are going to store the data in the format of the tables. And this is nothing but the application server. Application server is nothing but your central processing unit, CPU of a computer, where the programs are getting executed when you are doing some transaction. And this is nothing but a presentation layer. Presentation layer is nothing but your simple computer monitor, which will be enabling you to have the access to the SAP system so that you will be able to perform the transactions using the presentation layer. So this is the simplest view of a 3-tier architecture based upon which the SAP became quite popular. Okay, so now let us see what next. The next activity is, so the advantage number 3 is it has a 3-tier architecture, because of which it became quite popular. Then what is the advantage number 4? Advantage number 4 of the SAP system is, people who are working in the SAP projects can be categorized into 4 categories. Let us say there are 4 categories of the people working in the SAP implementation projects. Category 1 of the people is technical consultants. Let us say there are some 10 people working in a SAP implementation project. Out of 10, 3 people will be the technical consultants. So what is technical consultants doing? These people will be writing the coding or the new programs. So these people will write the coding or new programs development. Okay, so if there is any new program to be developed, these people will be doing the coding. Okay, then what is the language these people are using to write the coding or the new program? These people will be using the language as a ABAP language. What is the full form of ABAP? Can anyone know? Anyone knows what is the full form of ABAP? Hello?
Advanced Business Application Programming.
Yes. Okay, so ABAP is nothing but a advanced business applications programming language. Okay, so this is the language which will be used by the SAP technical consultants for writing the coding, right? Okay. Then what is the category 2 people? Category 2 people in the SAP projects are basis consultants. So what is the normal activities that will be done by the basis consultants? The basis consultants will be doing the system administration activities. So these people will be involved in system administration activities. When I say system administration activities, what are the system administration activities? So these, pardon me? So these people will be normally involved in providing the support for the client in having the servers procurement, let us say, or licenses procurement, right? So let us say I am the client, I want to implement SAP system. So I need to have the licenses procured first, right? So licenses procurement from SAP company. So these people will help to the client in procuring the licenses from the SAP company. Licenses procurement, also the server installation and the procurement. Server installation and procurement related activities. Also, these people will be providing the complete project infrastructure. When I say project infrastructure, like laptops and desktop and some of the computer peripherals, right? Computer peripherals. Arrangement, etc. So these people will be normally involved in the project infrastructure and the system administration related support providing to the client. Okay, then we have the one more type of consultants known as a security consultants. So what is the work that will be done by the security consultants? These people will be involved in the security related activities. Like what is security? Security is nothing but, let us say I am the person working in the SAP materials management. So I should have only access to the materials management related transactions. I shouldn't be having access to the finance related transactions or the production planning related transactions. I should be restricted for the finance or the production planning or the controlling related transactions. So how I will be restricted? I will be restricted by one of the concept known as the roles and authorizations matrix. Whatever may be the roles I am eligible for to do, those roles only will be assigned to me. So how they will do that? How the roles and authorizations matrix, everything will be created, and how a particular user will be restricted for not doing the activities that are relevant for him will be done by the roles and authorization matrix concept creation, and this will be taken care by the security consultants. So these people will create roles and authorization matrix creation, so that users will be restricted for not doing the activities that are not relevant for them. So if they give the access to me everything, so let us say I am the person working in the procurement department, I am responsible only to do the purchase order, etc. But if they give the financial transactions access also, I will try to perform the finance related activities as well. I will do so many mistakes if I am trying to do that. That is the reason they will restrict the access for the finance related activities. And how they will do that? They will do that by using the roles and authorizations matrix concept. So these activities will be done by the security consultants. Then what is the fourth category of the people working in the SAP projects? Fourth category will be the functional consultants. So what is the category that we people are coming under, or we people are falling under? So we people will be falling under the category of the functional consultants. So what is the role of a functional consultant in the SAP implementation project? Can anyone tell what is the role of a functional consultant? What we are going to do in the SAP implementation projects? What are we going to do as a SAP materials management consultant or SAP materials management functional consultant?
Sir, we are going to implement the client's business processes in a SAP system. We will configure it according to their requirements.
Yeah, exactly. So functional consultants are in direct client facing role. So functional consultants are in direct client facing role. Client facing role. Okay, so what is client? Who is client? Who I will be calling as a client? Let us say you have learned SAP and you became expert in SAP materials management. Then you will be hired by one of the IT company as a SAP materials management functional consultant, and you will start working for one of the IT company. So what is your role in the IT company? Your role will be, let us say there is one manufacturing organization, right? So you are working for IT company, right? So there is one IT industry or the IT company. Within the IT company, you are working as a SAP MM consultant. So what IT companies will do? These people will do the implementation of the projects, like software implementation projects like SAP, all those things. Let us say there is one manufacturing organization. The manufacturing organization, they are not having that much of expertise in the software, right? Let us say there is one manufacturing company. So they thought they want to implement SAP system in their organization. Then what they will do? They don't have the proper skilled person within the manufacturing company to implement SAP, right? They don't have proper skilled persons. Then what they will do? They need to approach one of the IT company for their SAP implementation project. Let us say this IT company approach this manufacturing organization approached the IT company, and they will have some discussions with the IT company, and they will come to some contract. Means there will be one contract between the manufacturing company and the IT company in terms of SAP implementation project. So IT company will support the SAP implementation activities within the manufacturing organization. Okay, let us say they came to an agreement, and the IT company is helping the manufacturing organization for implementing the SAP. Then what IT company will do? IT company will deploy the consultants, like functional consultant, two consultants, and two SAP SD functional consultants, two finance. Based upon the volume of the project, they will identify some people like you, and they will deploy you into the manufacturing company premises. Okay, but nowadays it is not happening. So earlier, before Corona, so people, SAP materials management functional consultants used to travel to the client location, and they will study their existing business processes. What is the first and foremost activity before implementing the SAP or before start of the project? You will go to the company premises of the manufacturing organization, and you will start analyzing their existing business processes. Okay, so you want to implement SAP, right? So then how you will do that? You need to understand their business process first, how they are working today. Accordingly, you are going to map SAP in their company, right? So you will be deployed into the manufacturing organization company premises, and you will meet the people sitting over there. Like you are the SAP MM consultant, you will go to the procurement department and the stores department, and you will conduct some meetings over there. Then they will give you the KT or knowledge transfer. What type of KT they will give? They will say these are the business activities which we are doing on as on today. Okay, so how they are performing today, the business activities, all those things you are going to understand their existing business processes. So that particular phase of the project where you are going to understand the existing business processes will be called as is business process study. So you will go to the manufacturing company, and you will try to understand their existing business processes, known as is business process study. Once you understand their existing business processes, then what you are going to do? You are going to analyze how these existing business processes will be mapped into the SAP system. So that particular analysis which you are trying to do, it is the to be business process mapping. Okay, once you identified and analyzed the to be business process mappings, then What is the next activity of your functional consultant? The next activity will be, if for the business processes which you have identified in the manufacturing company, if there is a solution already available in SAP system, then what you will do, whatever may be the solution that is available in the SAP system as a standard, you are going to implement the standard solution. It is a straightforward. But let us say there is no solution available in the SAP system, then what you will do, you will try to develop that solution as a custom solution. So to develop the custom solution, you need to write the coding, right? So but what you will do, you are not the person who is going to write the coding, right? So you will take the help of the technical people and try to build the coding. Once the code is developed, then you are going to perform various types of testings. Like there are various types of testings like unit testing, integration testing. Then you have user acceptance testing. Then you have a regression testing. Then you have performance testing. Like that, there are various types of testings which you are going to perform as a part of the implementation program. So not only the testings which you are going to perform, you are also going to do so many configurations. Okay, we will see what and all the configuration that you are going to do as a part of implementation in our coming sessions. But one of the activity you are going to do it is the configurations. Apart from the configuration, you are also going to do the transactional data creation and some of the master data creation. So these are the various types of activities you are going to perform as a functional consultant. Apart from this, you are also going to do the trainings. So you developed one solution, right? So that solution you need to give knowledge transfer to the business users working for the manufacturing organization. So you need to give the knowledge transfer or the trainings. So you need to give a lot of trainings and knowledge transfer sessions to the team so that they will be able to perform the transactions on their own. Also, if somebody doing the wrong transactions or the any issues raised during the implementation, all those issues you are going to address. Nothing but issue addressing. During project duration. Okay, so not only these things, there are so many other things. As a functional consultant, you are going to do it in the implementation projects. Okay, so this is the little bit of understanding related to the consultants that are working as a functional within the SAP implementation projects. Then what is the other advantage of the SAP system? The other advantage is of the SAP system is SAP has gone through the various version upgrades. Means SAP will reinvent themselves on quite timely manner. When I say reinvent, that means SAP started during 1972. So today it is almost 2022, right? So it is almost 40 years. So during the 40 years of time, SAP has released almost some 50 to 60 different versions. Okay, so if you want to stay in the market, if you want to stay in the market as a by against the competition, you need to reinvent themselves quite timely manner. Otherwise, you will be out of the market, right? So SAP is one of the software which has released the almost some 40 to 50 different versions during these 40 years of time. That is the reason they are in the market nowadays. If you don't reinvent yourself on timely manner, so you will stay only 1 or 2 years. That's it. After 2 years, you will be out from the market. So you need to have solutions developed quite timely manner and release the new solutions or enhance your existing solutions. Then your product will have more demand in the market and you will be able to stay in the market against the competition. So that is one of the major advantage of the SAP system. So they reinvent themselves quite timely manner and they will release new enhancements and the solutions within limited period of time. So what and all the version upgrades that SAP has gone through during 1972 till date. So during 1972, they released one version known as SAP R1 version. So what is SAP R1? SAP R1 is nothing but SAP R1 is nothing but a real time. R is nothing but real time. One means one tier architecture. R1 is nothing but a real time one tier architecture. Okay, so this was released during the 1972. Okay, so what and all the solutions they have developed during what and all the solutions SAP provided during 1972? SAP was able to provide the solutions only for the accounting, right? So they have provided solutions only for accounting or accounting department, you can say. So they don't have the solutions developed or released during 1972 for the some of the other department functionalities like human resource management or production planning or procurement or inventory management. There is no solutions for those activities. Okay, so SAP was not became that much popular during 1972. Why? Because they don't have the solutions for all departmental needs. They have only solutions for the finance. So that is the reason it was not become that much popular. So the customer base during the 1972 was only some 40 to 80 customers were there. Why? Because the solutions are not completely provided for the industry specific requirements. So what is the database they are using during 1972? The database they were using during 1972 was Oracle database and DB2 database. Database is nothing but a storage device, right? So they need to use one database to store the transactions that are happening in the SAP system. So initially they have used the database as a Oracle database and the DB2 database. Okay, so then SAP was used by not big organization during the initial stages. Why? Because it doesn't have solutions for complete requirements of an organization. So that is the reason it was used in only some small scale organizations. So SAP usage was restricted to some small scale organizations. It was not that much popular and it was only restricted to the usage in the some small scale organization during 1972. So then SAP thought, why don't we enhance our skills or the solutions to the complete industry specific requirements. So it took for SAP almost 7 years to upgrade SAP R1 to SAP R2. So during 1979, they released one version known as SAP R2. So nothing but real-time two-tier architecture in data processing. It is the architecture is two-tier architecture over here. So real-time two-tier architecture over here. So they have provided the solutions for accounting or the finance module, as well as along with the finance, they also able to provide the solutions for logistics module. So what are the logistics module? The logistics modules are like your procurement department related activities. So like they have released SAP MM, which will support procurement department related functions. Also, it will support the inventory management related functions. Also, they released the solutions for sales and distribution department. So they have released one module known as SAP SD during 1979, which will support the solutions for the sales department. Also, they have provided the solutions for the production planning. So production planning related support they have provided by using the SAP PP. SAP PP is nothing but a production planning. Then SAP quality management, right? So quality. So for the quality department, they were able to provide the solutions by developing the SAP quality management. So this I can say it is a SAP FI, nothing but SAP finance FI. Also, they were able to release the solutions for the warehouse management, right? Warehouse department. So here they have released one solution for the SAP WM. So like that, during the 1979, they were able to provide the solutions for the logistics module along with the finance module. So since they have released the solutions for the logistics module along with the finance, SAP became little bit popular and the customer base got increased from 80 customer to some 400 customers, etc. Okay, so also the database what they are using during over here is it is a Oracle and the DB2 database only. There is no change in the database, and it is also still not become that much popular. Still, SAP was not able to provide the solutions for big industry requirements. So still it is being used in some small scale organizations only. So SAP again thought, why don't we make the product to be useful in the big organizations? So by keeping those things in mind, it took almost for 13 years for SAP to release one new version or the upgraded version from SAP R2 to SAP R3. So it was during 1992 they released one version known as SAP R1, R3. SAP R3 they have released. SAP R3 is nothing but a SAP real-time to three-tier architecture in data processing. Architecture in data processing. Right? SAP real-time 3-tier architecture in data processing. It also has the solutions for the finance as well as the logistics module. Okay, but because of the change in the architecture, like 2-tier architecture to 3-tier architecture, SAP was flexible enough to use in big industry specific requirements. So big industries also was able to use the SAP system because of the architecture change. From SAP R2 version to R3 version, SAP became cope up with the big industry specific solutions addressing. So they have made the product, made SAP relevant for usage in big industry requirements, industries. Okay, so with this change in the architecture, like we already discussed, what is 3-tier architecture? It has 3 layers in data processing: presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. With this, SAP became quite popular, and it is cope up to usage in the big industry specific requirements. So that is the reason the customer base from 400 customers to it became almost 12,000 customers within limited span of time. From 1992 to 1995, the customer base got increased from 400 customers to almost 12,000 customers within a limited span of time. Okay, so here also you have the database used as a Oracle database and the DB2 database only. There is no change in the database, but only the difference is the architecture. The architecture is a 3-tier architecture. It has 3 layers: presentation layer, application layer, and the database layer, because of which it became flexible enough to work for the big industry specific requirements. And the customer base also got increased almost to 12,000 customers. Then during 1990, 2004, during 2004, they have released one more version known as SAP R3 4.70. SAP R3 4.70 they were able to release, and it is also having the similar functionality of the SAP R3, but the solutions were enhanced. You have some old solutions, and those old solutions were enhanced to the some level of understanding. So the solutions were which are there in the SAP R3 was enhanced. Solutions in SAP R3 was enhanced to in SAP R3 4.70. Means solution enhancement is nothing but it is simple, right? So like WhatsApp you have. So during 2015 WhatsApp got released. At that time there is no video calling, there is no money transfer, etc. But today you have the video calling, group calling, and money transfer, everything is available. Nothing but a version enhancement or upgrade. In the same way, SAP R3 having some solutions, those solutions were enhanced during the SAP R3 4.70 during 2004. Okay, so we can stop the session till here today. We can continue on tomorrow onwards. Okay, so this particular version management, it will take at least some half an hour time. Then we are going into the next functionalities of the SAP system. I think after Monday onwards, we are going to get into the SAP, and we will be trying to do the organizational structure configuration within SAP system. We need to define the organizational structure first. Once the definition is done, we are going to create the organizational elements in SAP system. So we can continue further from tomorrow onwards. Okay, so any doubts on today's class?
No, sir.
Hello, any doubts on today's class from the line? Your voice is breaking. I cannot hear you anything. No, I cannot hear you anything. Your voice is completely breaking. Hello? Is installation also will also learn? No, installation is a part of basis module. So installation you are not going to learn as a SAP MM. Installation will be part of basis module. So if you want to learn installation, you need to go to the basis. Okay, so any other
Yeah,
questions?
yeah. In the middle base, which programming language are using for the developing application?
Pardon me, in the
In the SAP for the development process, which language developers using?
ABAP, ABAP, right? So advanced business applications programming language. So ABAP will be used by the development. You are not going to do the development. Technical team will be going to do the development.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so then we can close the session here till today. Tomorrow we can continue. Okay, so thanks for joining the call. We can meet tomorrow. Thanks. Bye bye.